What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. I'm your host, Terry Durden.
And I'm your co-host, Jay Babel.
Today, we're going to be talking about media and dating. And we have a special guest that'll be joining us a little bit later on tonight. But before we get into the topic of the week, we like to start the podcast off with the segment that we call Terry's Top 3, where we basically discuss and elaborate on some of the most controversial or interesting posts from my Instagram page at Terry Duran. So let me pull up the first post of the night. We got a couple of real interesting things that we're going to be discussing. The first one is a video that I was tagged in by another relationship guy by the name Stephen. Well, his Instagram page is Stephen Speaks. I forget his last name, but he's a really popular relationship guy on social media. Been following for a couple years, and he has some pretty interesting perspectives on relationships. But this was a post that was sent to me, so let's take a look.
A lot of women have been sold this dream that yes, the man loves you, like you say, he's gonna fight through all these issues and try to be with you regardless. And it's like, yo, we're human too. We've been through our own battles. We're already worn down from stuff. So when we come across that, no matter how much we love you, there's only so much we can take.
Ladies,
and there's another, I always tell people it's easier to chase lust than it is to chase love.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
It really is. I'll be the honest one. Yes, it really is, bro. It really is. I'm sorry, I got you. My bad.
No problem. Because it's true. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when he loves you, you keep pushing him away. He can't take it.
Stop
it
pushing
hurts
me
too
away.
much. You know what I'm saying? But when he just wants to have sex with you, whatever, that's different. He can bounce back. It's easy for him.
Finesse language.
So, and that's the thing. I think they get it confused because some of these dudes who do keep pushing, no matter what their issues are, they think it's not love. It's infatuation. It's he wants something else from you.
Now, I agree with a lot of the things that he said. Men do have a limit. You know what I mean? And love doesn't overcome everything. So I found this very interesting because this is a lot of the same stuff that I post about. That I get criticized for, I get accused of hating women for, etc. Right? Trying to tell women what they do that are killing their relationships or pushing men away. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that there's another voice speaking to it.
Wait a second. I did get a chance to look at this video. And I agree with a lot of what he said. And I read through the comment section too and put it up a couple of days ago. And what you were saying, what a lot of them were saying was, and they agree with what he said for what it's worth, but they're saying, so what you say, it's your delivery.
Right. They always go to the delivery excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like as if somebody telling you something valid, somebody telling you something that's actually causing people to get divorced, causing men that were once in love with a woman to fall out of love, causing men that love a woman and have a family to decide to cheat. Like, I'm telling you that shit for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I'm just making the shit up.
They were saying, because the way they were saying, okay, like, let's just say, for example, that Jackson says anything you're saying, right?
Well, see, that's the part that
audience, because I guess the way Derek Jackson would say it, the way you would say it.
Well, he didn't go into that part. He didn't get to that part. He just talked about he just kept it simple. Like, it's very intelligent what he did. He explained to him, look, he got a limit. Men hurt too. Men got their own problems. He didn't talk about the consequences. He didn't say that he's gonna leave you or cheat and be disconnected from you, and open the door for him to get connected emotionally to another woman. Like, he didn't elaborate on none of the stuff that I go into depth about.
The way I just because he kind of said the way he said it seemed like it was jokingly, somewhat facetious.
Yeah, I mean, his delivery was very pleasant.
And I think that's what kind of caught a lot of attention. Is like, oh yeah, well I agree with him.
Well, I mean, that, like I said, if delivery changes your perception of the same information, then you have a problem with translating and interpreting information. You know what I'm saying? Like if I showed you a math problem where it was the sideways math, where it's 2,000 plus and it's going horizontal, or if I show you one where it's going vertical, if you can't get the same answer on both of them, you have a problem with your math. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's no different with the relationship stuff. I don't know none of these women that follow me personally. I don't put nobody on blast. I don't point nobody out. I don't tag nobody on post. I talk about specific things that have been known to create problems. I talk about things that don't make sense from a logical perspective, or things that do not enhance a woman's dating experiences. But like I said, when it comes from somebody else, some women are more receptive to it because a lot of them just don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that negative emotion.
But I think what happens is you get accused of women matching so much, and so people would say something. It makes sense, cares from what they want to hear, whatever it they do. They're saying, "Oh well, you know, he's a women match anyway, so I'm not going to listen to what he has to say."
Very true. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them that do take that perspective. I don't really know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a man that hates women wouldn't do what I do on my page. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hate somebody and actively try to help them every day. You know what I mean? Like, so the ones that it just shows me that they're the problem.
You know, we give a good game on, you know, a lot of times. And listen, for what it's worth, you may or may not agree with everything, but I think, you know, stuff makes sense here. So, you know, I don't see why you would try to, you know, tune it out here. Yeah,
man. I don't get it either, man. I'm very receptive when somebody gives me sound advice. You know what I'm saying? I always look at somebody trying to help me or trying to prevent me from doing something as a good thing. And so I don't understand that. That's one phenomenon that I can't come up with the explanation for outside of it's a negative emotion, and it's a lot of them hit dog holler. A lot of them feel like I'm talking about them because they think and do the stuff that I post about. You know what I mean? Like, and so, and I expose their hypocritical thoughts based off stuff they say in the comments. I point out how inconsistent they are when they apply these philosophies and values they claim to care about. Like, so, all that I would imagine, I can see why that would rub some women the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Or get some women in their feelings. But that's not really my problem, right?
Right. That sounds like a you problem.
All right, let's keep it moving. The next post that I wanted to talk about, this was a post that I created. And it said that 3 things that men wish women understood. It says, number 1, we aren't saying that your feelings aren't valid. We want y'all to understand that they aren't facts and can be inaccurate or show a partial view of a situation. Women really struggle with that. That's the whole problem. I'm constantly preaching, don't treat your feelings like facts. A feeling or a suspicion of something, it means it's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a guaranteed book. It's a possible. It's a chance you could be wrong. It's a chance you could not have the proper context on the situation. It's a possible that you just don't have all the information. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you jump immediately to treating what you think or feel as being absolutely true, you open the door to destroying all types of stuff. There's a reason that we have court cases where people get to present evidence and call in experts and call in witnesses. Because just because you perceive something a certain way does not mean that that's 100% depiction of what actually took place. And it's so hard to get some women to just understand that basic philosophy. Like, you can't, a cop just can't look at a scenario and say, oh, there was a dead body and a gun, you automatically the murderer. Like, I could have been over here trying to save this person's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
when women jump to these major conclusions based off their feelings or their assumptions or whatever, without having facts or tangible proof, it creates an environment where a man can never be right.
Right. I think what happens a lot of times is, I think when a lot of women in these situations, they confuse their emotions for facts a lot of times.
Right.
So they're treating their emotion as it's factual information, and that's
Well, I mean, just because something happened to you.
And now you hear, and then, a lot of times when they pass over, you hear this thing, women intuition, and that's called women intuition as a fact.
Miss me with the intuition. You know what I'm saying?
And there's, saying a lot of times, there's not, hard evidence here, because, well, I feel this way. Well, women intuition's kicking in.
Yeah, I don't have much faith in that. All right, so the second thing was, number 2, we don't judge you for having feelings. We criticize the way you react to them, because those reactions are often unwarranted, illogical, or unfair, and are intended to hurt or penalize men. So it's not, sometimes you can make an assumption and there's no harm, no foul, nobody got bothered. You know what I'm saying? Like I can assume my daughter's in there in her room doing some shit she ain't supposed to be doing, and I can go in there, she's playing on her iPad. So she don't know I wasn't giving her the benefit of the doubt, or I was having some negative assumptions about her behavior, but there's no problem. But if I would have went in there and whooped her ass like she did do something wrong, and then come to find out she didn't, now it's a major fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, in every other aspect of life, women can see why that's a problem. If a cop just comes and kills a person and said that you automatically did it, they would understand why that's unfair. The man didn't get to defend himself, right? So I don't understand why they can't apply that to their own assumptions about me and about things that happen. But that's what happens when a large percentage of your decisions are emotional based.
Right. Now, I think what happens a lot of times, now a lot of women listen, I think you got to look past the emotional part of how it makes you feel and look more towards the substance end of it here.
Yeah, I mean, how something makes you feel is something you can always discuss. You can always present it. You can always tell somebody. But there's a difference between me telling you how something made me feel and me confronting you about how something made me feel. Like, first of all, I didn't know it fucking made you feel like that. So for you to be penalizing me or doing something to intentionally hurt me off some shit I wasn't even aware of is always going to be a problem. And it's a problem if a man does that to a woman. I don't understand why women can't see why that's a problem to do to a man that you claim to love. Like it's not just a stranger you doing this to. This is somebody you claim to want to build a happy relationship with. So it just don't make a lot of sense to me.
And I think everything you do put on the page has substance to it. It's just how are you receptive to what you're saying? And that's what happens. A lot of them sometimes are just reject what saying, maybe because they feel where they feel how you're saying it. Maybe they feel like you're talking directly towards them or talking at them.
They have a bunch of different reasons why.
You can't treat it like that.
Yeah, they have a bunch of...
I would say this. It's one thing if you disagree with it, but now as long as you can logically point out why you disagree with it, as opposed to saying, well, I feel this way and I feel that way.
I was just about to get to that. When you read their comments, you can usually tell that it's an emotion-based response.
Absolutely.
And that's why women assume I'm in my feelings whenever I respond to something. Like you'll see comments, oh, you're just mad because this. Oh, men are just hurt because of this. Like
I did notice that one of your posts that you put up, the one about when you said two of the guys are wrong, you're not going to do it unless I think you said husband benefits, or if I'm married, or at least I'm with this person. You say how it didn't make sense. And now you say I was upset. you know what I'm saying, voice the opinion what you feel about, but a lot of women turn up because of the way you said it and on that certain video.
Well, I mean, I get that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Right.
they constantly make assumptions of that.
Right.
You have to be in your feelings.
Yeah, the father said, go ahead and say that so he can look at you like you're a fucking dummy. I think some got their feelings over there. Because I posted in a couple of groups and some were like, oh, why do you have to say it like that?
Oh man, it's funny to see how they'll find something to make negative, you know what I'm saying, or just to focus, to make that the focal point instead of the actual message.
Because you feel that way, you know, and that totally negates your point of what you said there now.
Well, they can take what they can and leave what they can't handle or whatnot.
Right.
That's not a me problem. That's their problem.
You
know what I'm saying? Like, all right. So the last post that I wanted to talk about was a post that I created. It said that it's easy to be in a relationship when everything is all good. When you are dating or kicking it with someone, you need to be figuring out how they handle the bad times if you expect them to be a productive part of your future. Now, I can't express this enough. You know, I'm constantly telling people they're failing the dating phase, right? Because, and there's a lot of different ways to fail something, right? It's a whole bunch of different ways to fail a test. But when it comes to failing the dating phase, the whole purpose of dating, you have two fundamental purposes. One, to establish that there is a mutual romantic interest. I don't want to keep hanging out if you just see me as a platonic brother or a platonic buddy. If this ain't going to progress towards us fucking in the future, I'm not really down for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's how most men are when it comes to them pursuing women. They're not pursuing women that they want to be buddies with. So the second thing, once that's established, you are sexually attracted to me. I'm sexually attracted to you. We do the same type of things. We like the same type of shit. Now we can start figuring out if we are compatible long term and what type of relationship I see myself having with you. Now, this is the part that women get confused. You can be on the bare minimum first level elevator on the elevator and still get my time and dick and attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can meet the minimum requirement of being sexy enough for me to feel like you fuckable or attractive. You accepting my offer to take your number or whatever, and us agreeing to hang out. That at the very bare minimum, that means I like you enough to smash if you down. And I think that's how most men feel. And it does not, and if it never becomes anything more than that, most men are perfectly fine with that. They're not going to be upset. They're not going to be disappointed if it didn't just stay at platonic the entire time. Even if you don't end up fucking a guy, y'all end up kicking it for a couple of weeks. Y'all talk a couple of times. Y'all hang out. Y'all go from nothing to y'all hug a couple of times. He got to rub your booty. Like, even if he didn't get to hit, that will be received a lot better than you treated him like he was in the friend zone the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's people get in the dating phase so mixed up that they don't focus on what really matters, like figuring out how a person's long-term life goals match yours. What are their thoughts on?
Well, I think a lot of times what happens is, you know, both the guy and women aren't asking the right questions in that relationship or whatever it is they have going. The guy isn't asking them the right questions. Neither is the woman.
Well, that's not always the case because people can lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that is true. There are people that can.
Asking questions is just part of the equation. You have to.
Just like this. You ask a woman, hey, listen, what do you do? She says, hey, I own 15 businesses, and that's where the guy has to do with due diligence. Probably said, find out if she's
exactly.
If she's really as advertised, there's really 15 businesses on 15 businesses need 15 items that the SWAT need.
But you know that type of stuff comes out at the more time you spend with somebody, right?
But like I said, what I'm saying is sometimes that program is just taking things at face value.
But a lot of people don't. They get so caught up in the honeymoon phase, the having somebody new, the new sex, and all these other things.
You know, the euphoric stage of that relationship.
Right, like
all their fantasies.
What old boy say?
That guy, that woman.
Yeah, what he said? They bleached the red flags or something a couple of episodes ago. That's exactly what they do. They look at things that you can tell when somebody does something where I ain't gonna be able to fuck with them long term, or I'm gonna only fuck with them on a limited basis. I can meet a dude and I can automatically know I would never go on a trip with him. I would never like do nothing important with him, but I can hang out at a get together with him and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like there are different levels that you have with everybody, and it's no different from a male perspective on dating. Every woman that I ever hollered at, I will fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like otherwise, I would have never hollered at him. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna shoot a certain percentage when I shoot my shot. A certain percent of them are gonna want to fuck me. A certain percentage out of the women that do want to fuck me, something's gonna happen that prevent it from happening. I got an old lady or she got a boyfriend, something like that. Like there are. It's.
I mean, listen. For what it's worth, no guy ever just goes into trying to holler at him and say, "Hey, listen, you know, let's exchange numbers so you know we can be friends to you."
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that would make.
Either, hey, you're trying to put, or unless it's maybe some kind of your network and some kind of business going on there. So it's
that's when you mix in business with pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Like you end up fucking your attorney or something like that. Like men make irresponsible decisions like that. That's different. That's different than just purely dating someone or purely going from stranger to, hey, what's your number? You cute, where you from? And going from there. At that point, you don't know what's going to happen with this person. You don't know if you're going to click with that person. You don't know if you're going to fall in love. You don't know if she's going to be crazy as fuck. You don't know. All you know is she's cute enough to get the dick, though. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that it doesn't require any more than that from a male perspective. You know what I'm saying? And when you're dealing with men that have their shit together, they're not having to put on a facade. They're not having to trick you out the pussy. They're not having to even press you for the pussy. They fly enough that women usually throw pussy at them without them having to be thirsty, without them having to create an uncomfortable environment. They specialize at creating that type of environment where women take off their heels and their panties. That's what quality men do. The men that are successful with women, that's what they do. They get women to want to interact with them, to want to talk to them, to want to see them, to want to cancel plans with their friends to come link up with them. They've done it their whole life. They have the money to pay for the type of things it takes to make that happen. Be able to order some food and some drinks and buy some cologne and some nice clothes and pay to be well groomed enough, and you can get women to give you their time and attention. And eventually that comes with pussy too. It's very simple. That's why even men with no car can do it. Men with no education can do it. Men that ain't that cute can do it. Men that don't have a big dick can do it. There's a reason so many men can be successful with women. It's very easy to do. The only thing that changes is the caliber of women you fuck.
Absolutely.
That's it. Some men fuck the drive-through chick at Popeyes and fuck the manager at the food stamp office. Some dudes fuck nurses and lawyers and doctors. Some men are celebrities and fuck movie stars and shit like that. That's the only difference. It's the only difference. But let's move on, man. I think that we had a real good top 3 this week. We're about to get into it. We're about to get our guest on the line, so we're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be discussing media and dating with Lisa Durden. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We got our guest on the line, Lisa Durden. What's going on, Lisa? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invitation to come on. I'm excited.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. We appreciate you making the time. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Let them know, who you are. Give them a little background about yourself before we jump into the topic tonight.
Yes, of course. Well, I'm an old bird. I've been around the block a few times. I've been in the game a long time. So I'm a New Jersey girl. I live in New Jersey currently. I've been born and raised here. And they love to talk about young people from the inner cities, when they call inner cities, if you're from Newark or Chicago or Philly or Atlanta. Somehow you can't be successful. So everybody thinks you're going to have babies at 12 and you're on drugs and you're selling dope and you belong to a gang. And of course, you have people like that all over the place. But that stereotype that everybody's like that is not a cool thing. So although I lived in Newark, I was not the tough girl hitting the streets. I couldn't kick nobody's ass. I was a punk. So I had to run track to make my life do what it did. So I was just a regular kid. I went to Seton University after I graduated. That was really around the corner from my house, almost literally. So I didn't get out. I didn't go to school. And so, so I went to school and I knew from a young age I wanted to be, they didn't call it media then. Because I graduated college in 1980 or something. So I've been in the game for a minute. I'm an OG. So when I graduated from Seton University, I initially when I went there, I thought I'm going to be like the next Sue Simmons. Of course, no one knows who that is. She was a newscaster on, I think the beginning she was on CBS. She was in her last round. She was at NBC or vice versa. She was an anchor person, the first Black woman anchor person that I knew of. But when Oprah Winfrey hit the scene in 1986 with her national show, the Oprah Winfrey show, said, "Oh, that's who I am. I like to talk." So, because that kind of format was more like, she's not really like a serious anchor person. So that was the first time I saw someone that did something that I thought fit my personality. And so around my senior year, I decided that's what I wanted to do. Of course, fast forward, it didn't work out that way. I had to get a job. My mother, she's dead now, but there's some white kids, they go to college and they graduate and they go, Mommy, I gotta go to Europe and find myself. I'm gonna go backpacking and find myself. So I went to school with a bunch of white kids. So I ran home and said, Mommy, when I graduate, I'm gonna go to Europe backpacking and find myself. My Black Southern mother said, Lisa, you are looking for yourself, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, you just found yourself. you need to get your ass a job.
Absolutely. Put you on the right track. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about your relationship background. Have you been married?
Yes. So anyway, fast forward. So over time, without telling you all the background, you can just find my background online. I am now, because of media being the way it is, I'm now kind of like the media now. I'm on Shaping News every Friday night. If you live in the New York, New Jersey area, Connecticut, you get, or Philly, you get Shaping News. I'm on every Friday night at 11 p.m. So check it out. If you're in the New Jersey area, Channel 9. If you're on, my 9. If you're in Philadelphia, Fox 29. And that's it. Anyway, so dating. Now, here's the thing. Dating, because of how old I am, dating has gone through its iterations of different things. Like, actually a phone booth on the corner, you were catered, and now we have, online dating. So I'm going through all of the different iterations of the ways to meet people and date. So over the years, I've had all kinds of scenarios of dating. I've learned a lot.
Well, you seem to be ahead of the curve a lot as far as people in your age group. You seem to be receptive and actually utilizing technology or whatnot. So kudos to you for that. When I was in my master's program, we talked about older people that are resistant to technology and how drastically how they fall behind the times. So it's good to hear that you're on somebody that's keeping up with the current times and the current trends.
Oh yes,
Absolutely.
That's
something. Let me say something. I call myself the black version of what's her name? The community guy. Can you talk? What's her? Can you talk? Joe Rivers. I'm the black Joe Rivers. So Joe Rivers got in her age, but she was still relevant. So she's little few old heads like Clive Davis is old, he's still just like he's still relevant. So in fact, social media really breathed new life into my career because I wasn't the next hit. I wasn't the next people, and I moved it. So fast forward, in terms of dating and things. So over time, it's a couple of things. So just as a grown-ass woman, I had to really get myself together because I dated a man in my younger 20s for like 7 years, and I'm talking about, people say, and he was lovable. I think sometimes you can be unlovable. Mm-hmm. So what had happened was, I dated this guy for a long time, and I thought I was just nice and pretty and keep my body right. I was in the gym, I was smart, had a great job, and I thought he would love all of that. He never, ever loved me. And the more I kept dating him, the more I became unlovable because I was doing things that made me love me less and less.
let me ask you this: How do you know he didn't love you?
But actually, he told me so.
So he told. Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
I'll ask you. So, was there ever time in a relationship where you thought, okay, maybe we're not compatible, or did you just think, okay, maybe we are compatible, we need to work things out here?
Well, yeah. So I think that over time, when you become a grown-ass woman, you learn that. So when you're living in a society, and it's still, even though we're in 2018, hasn't changed, women are made to think either overtly or covertly, you can't keep a man, you ain't got no man that you're working. So I came from, it's not as bad as when I was coming up, it was still there. So I knew over time that this guy, Ken, he did not care about me. He told me many times, I don't love you. I'm not in love with you because you made me not love you, but I kept asking for love more and begging for more, crying literally. No one wants a person who don't have any self-esteem. Right. So
that doesn't sound like
What do you think that you did that made him say she doesn't love you? What do you think it was? Do you think it was his hair? Did you think it was your self-awareness? Like, what was it?
Well, I think what happened was, from the beginning, if you're, and I'm going to throw all the ladies out, I care more about ladies and gentlemen, let's see probably what you brothers are. So for our sisters out here, I feel like if you're dating a person and within the first, let's say, 6 months to a year, you don't see there's a compatibility there, meaning you want the same things you want, if you want marriage, if you want to live together, whatever you're looking for.
If
you don't see that you do in the first 6 months to a year, a man knows when he wants you.
A man knows what he wants in an ideal scenario long term, but nothing's fluid. You can't predict the future. But like you said, you should be establishing that you're compatible, whether or not you're compatible long term, and a lot of people fail that process.
When you're a woman, you're in. If the man doesn't know that he's in, that's the point. If you don't know, then you're not in. Because if you're with him, you would know. So that goes by, you don't want to wait around for him to know, and it's not you. And if you want to wait around, and I'll use you as an example. I did that, but over time, he wanted me. 7 years later, the man didn't want no part of me for that. He was a nice guy. I just thought he was a nice person, but for that, he didn't want.
So let me ask you this, Lisa. Let me ask you this. So you never had conversations with him about wanting to be married?
I don't know if it's been a long time. I don't know if we had conversations, but I think he knew what I wanted one day. So now, fast forward, this comes to gentlemen, fast forward, like women are a little bit more aggressive than we were when I was coming up. So I love that about women. They're aggressive. So my point is, when you're a female out there dating now, and if you're old school, looking for a man, you're 50 years old, you're 60, you're 25. If you know what you want, and you know what you're looking for, and you find that person, and they don't know, or it's not you, leave that person. If you want something, now if you want to jump off, that's very different, right? If you want to jump off, there's no commitment. I don't have to know your last name. Just jump off. I've done two of those in my life. Just two. I've done two.
Well, I mean, I think that you can tell if you have the right conversations, and it sounds like you said in your generation, a lot of women didn't. A lot of women still don't. You know what I mean? Like, so the conversations that it seems like a no-brainer from a male perspective, because quality men have these they ask these kind of questions, or they figure these things out about the women they date. But and when you're a man that had your shit together, women can tell you got your shit together. You know what I mean? Like, just by them being involved with you. So it's apparent. But that doesn't automatically mean a man wants to be with you long term, or he even wants to be married. And so a lot of women that don't have the conversations at all. Part of that, a lot of guys lie about things. You know what I mean? Or they tell you how they feel currently and don't give you the update when their feelings change. You know what I mean? Like, that's
here's the thing that what women need to understand. You don't need all of that. You don't need all of that. We have what we call, my used to call what we call motherhood. I didn't think it was a real word. I thought motherhood, my mother from country, well, what the hell motherhood? Well, I learned years later that was a real word. So we're motherhood. So you are now, here's what I do. I do like Kobe introduce. When you're meeting a man, whether it be online, whether it be you met him in a barbecue, or you met him somewhere, it could be any person, any kind of person that you're trying to date, whether it be, if you meet a man, or if you like something, whatever it is. It's the same thing with people. So, you do the interview. In the first conversation, and I don't mean online, I mean the first conversation, because online, folks can be any kind of way and look any kind of way. Once you establish, oh yeah, like this person like me, and you have this first conversation, whether it be in person or on the phone, I don't think you should go past 2 or 3 phone conversations before you know this is going to go forward. Again, if it's a booty call, then you know what I'm saying. Now, if you want a relationship, something commitment, something like marriage, okay, the first 2 phone calls, I'll call a brother.
That don't sound like a good strategy.
Yeah, came out to you. Oh, great meeting you. So, and I'm going to start asking questions. Naturally in a conversation, I'm not going to go along with it, So, how old are you? Okay, where do you live? Where did you grow up? You have family? You have children? Been married?
Yeah, okay, you're right. I have to put. I was gonna say, I have to put in context that you're older than you're in a different generation, because I was gonna say that is not a very good strategy for just the average woman to be doing. 3 conversations, you trying to put
yes, it is. It absolutely
no, that's definitely
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. I don't care if you're 15. Well, it doesn't count because you're not going to marry. If you're in your 20s and you're looking for something more, it is. It's in the first 2 conversations. Again, if you're not looking for something committed, doesn't matter. You're just dating or whatever. If you're looking for somebody committed, these conversations, whether it be on a date, on the phone, how do you have these conversations? It could be, you could be on your phone talking to somebody else, to somebody in person. Yes, I do give them advice. See, men can't give us advice. Because one thing I learned about men is y'all want chances, and chances and chances. No, lady, no chances.
That's not gonna lead to very much success, and I'll tell you why. Most men don't know. They're not going to know within 3 conversations. Like setting
I'm not saying the man who knows he wants to marry you. I'm just in the conversation. Hold up for a second. In the conversation, as a lonely person, you're going to ask the person, are you interested in marriage? Marriage one day? Would you like kids?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. You really that I agree with that. I thought you were saying, hey, I thought you were taking the I'm pressed to get in a relationship track. Like, no. All right.
Glad we all got to clarify.
Yeah, because
I said it earlier. I said in a year's time, you should know something where it's going. Now,
yeah. I agree with that.
I think that's a reasonable reasonable amount of time in a year.
And it should be way less than a year. You know, in my, I have a,
I'm gonna give it a little time. It could be, I'm saying, no more than a year. But now I'm talking about when you initially meeting them, so you can get past.
yeah, okay.
It doesn't waste your time. So initially meeting someone, when you first start to go out on the date or you're having first phone conversations or whatever you're doing, in the first 3 or 4 interactions, whether it be in person or not, all these kinds of discussions should have happened and questions should have been asked of the person.
True.
And then for me too, but I'm curious for women. So if at that point the man tells you, well, I'm not looking for marriage, well, I don't want kids, but you do, and this is not someone who you want as a jump off, you're looking for something more, not just to have fun right now, you're getting older, if you're going into your 30s, you're looking for something more consistent, that dude has to go. I'll give you an example. A radio personality, what is his name? I forgot, but anyway, he said he went on a date with a young lady, and at the dinner date, it was the first date, and she was talking about, what she wanted and what he wanted. And he said, I'm not looking for anything serious right now. And so she said, oh, okay, I am. And then, they still had a pleasant date. They still had a pleasant date. And after the date, she wanted to go out again, like the next weekend or whatever. She said, no, thank you, I can't waste my time. He was shocked. But then he did say, she thought about it. That's true. Why would she go out with him after the first date when I told her I'm not looking for anything permanent right now or anything serious right now?
Well, the reason I don't think it's smart to I don't think it's smart for women to cut off quality men for a reason like that, because a person's feelings change over time. So if you ask if a woman goes on an initial date with the man and she's like, what are you looking for? Well, most men are not going around looking for nothing. I like you. I'm interested in seeing what's up. I'm interested to see how I feel about you. So when you go into it with I need to find out what he's looking for, most men are not looking for anything.
I don't think what you're looking for, because you may not know in terms of the woman. I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, but a lot of women do that. A lot of women are on this attempt to get guarantees and assurances. And so they go into the dating phase with that type of mindset. And so that ties into the topic of the night.
I think a lot of men that are in this or even married for that matter, weren't necessarily looking for a relationship per se at first. They would, taking the woman going out on dates and things of that sort. And over time, they said, okay, this can be somebody I can see myself with long term.
Right. If it progresses,
I'm looking for somebody to marry.
Right.
You get the question. I said, women can ask men, over what it's a conversation. I was going to ask the man, what are you looking for? If I said, what are you looking for? Well, are you interested in marriage one day? You might say, no, I want to get married one day. That doesn't mean you need it. I mean, we're not desperate. But I want to know, not me, I want to get married. It's not me, but I'm saying for those who do, you need to know that upfront. Do you want children one day?
Yeah, I agree with that. You should have conversations.
It doesn't mean he needs you.
Exactly.
Ask the man, well, what are you looking for? Are you looking just today? You're looking to just kind of, chill? Or what are you looking for? If he says, I'm just looking, and you know you're not looking, he can't be your man. He can't be anybody you take seriously. He just can't.
If he says he's not looking, that just means he's not desperate to or interested in rushing into a relationship. I think it would be foolish for a woman to cut off a quality man over that. That doesn't sound. I don't think women are not really in a position to cut off quality men for that. Like, that's not doing anything wrong.
But we are though. We are. So women are quality too. So it's as simple as maybe a job. If you're interviewing for a job and they say, here are all the qualifications we're looking for, and then you show up and they try to find out in this interview, do you have all these qualifications?
But that's not what you said. What you mentioned is not a situation where the man is not qualified. You said hold on. Let me go back to what you just said. You said if you say you're looking for something and he says, oh, I'm not really looking for anything, that does not mean he's not qualified to be a great husband or father. No, it does not. No, it does not.
You don't want what I want. you're not qualified to be my man. If you don't want what I want,
That's what you just said is not true. A man can be perfectly capable of being a good husband or father and take the approach to dating that I'm not really looking for nothing. I want to see what's going to happen. That doesn't mean he does not have the qualities to be a great husband or father. That's a false assumption. And so making a dating decision based on that assumption is a bad dating move.
No. It means that the woman who wants more shouldn't waste her time with that. It doesn't mean that he won't find somebody down the road. You can't be the one wasting your time.
That's an assumption that that's an assumption that you're wasting your time. Like there's no way to know what's going to happen in a dating scenario. So if a woman meets a man, a man that she finds attractive enough that meets her specifications or level of credentials to date. And the only thing that is different is their approach to dating. She wants to know she says, I'm looking for a serious relationship. And he takes the approach that I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm down to see. It would be foolish to just cut him off simply because he didn't answer. Go ahead.
I'm down to see. That's a different answer. If he says,
I'm not looking. That's what that means from a male's perspective.
You're not looking for something serious, and you are. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100%. The risk you're taking, women, with me, is you're wasting your time. Now, if you want to go down that road and risk it, just like people have said, if I told
any relationship has the risk of it not working. That's not the same thing as wasting your time. Hold on, you're using this. You're using this cliche that I see women use all the time. This wasting your time thing. Wasting your time means you had expectations for something that did not get met, and so when you that's the only way you. That's the only time. Okay, Lisa, let me ask you this. I just want a true or false answer. When women go on dating scenarios with men, when they say they wasted their time, that means that it did not develop into a committed relationship or a marriage. True or false?
I can't answer it because it depends on how long it was with the man. If you don't want to date, you're not wasting your time. You don't want to date your kids. It's not wasting your time. You're looking around your date. If you spent 7 years with the fool like I did, that's wasting your time.
Okay, that's very different. That's different than what you're saying though. You're saying that the ladies you're going to waste your time. That's not necessarily true. That's an assumption.
You want to get on a couple of dates, you're not wasting your time. No, you're going on dates to see if you want to go further.
Right.
Now, okay, I'll ask questions. Now, what would be the threshold for going out, hanging out with the guys, date, whatever the case may be? What's the threshold for you to say, okay, I'm wasting my time, or this is the guy I should move forward with?
The only time you're wasting your time is if you're running across a person who doesn't want the same things you want. You're giving them that time. It's like a job. I'm not going to look for a job anymore, which I've done, that I don't want to do. I was in sales. Why the hell was Lisa Durden in pharmaceutical sales? I wasted my 4 years there. It's a waste of time. It's not just that. It's not only relationship. You can use you can juxtapose or substitute it for anything. If you have a goal in life, or whatever the goal is, it can either be a rapper, a doctor, it's a goal. It's not yes, it's a goal. If you're not moving towards your goal every single day, whether it's your job, your career, you're wasting your time. So your job is to focus on your goal, whatever it is, until you get it. And anything that's taking you off course of that goal is problematic. So that includes dating. It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that you don't make a decision, which I've done before.
Well, I think the only thing that it's the wording of the wasting your time. You're not wasting your time if you figure out that you're not compatible long term. You accomplish an objective. So
if you know this up front,
there's no way to know that up front. There's no.
If you know this up front, and the person's telling you this up front, and you continue on thinking that they're going to change their mind, they know. But that's the real.
Okay, that's different.
I'll say this if you're wasting time. I'll say, okay, if you're dating somebody, this person wants to have kids, that person doesn't want to have kids, and you continue to date each other. You know, one person wants this, and person wants that, then you would be wasting time. And with that, I would
You can possibly be wasting your time. A person can change their mind about something like that. That's the part that you have to
Of
account.
course they can, but you don't need to waste your time to figure it out. Go to someone who already knows about each other. You don't have time to give away your precious time to somebody that doesn't know. Go to someone who doesn't know. It's just pulling up and know. Lots of women and men know what they want. Some people know.
That doesn't the layout of the dating scenario that doesn't seem realistic. The men that women want to be with, the men that meet the credentials that women really want out of men, they're not everywhere. Like, a lot of men are gay, a lot of men are locked up, a lot of men are already taken. So the quality men out there that women want to be with,
black men?
all men. Just it's not only black men, but just out of quality men, out of the men that have the type of charisma, the type of looks, the type of income, etc., that women want in men, that make them view men as husband and father material, right? Those type of men are not just overwhelmingly out there.
Those men are everywhere. That's the myth I want women to not take.
They are everywhere, but the percentage of them, a lot of them are already taken. A lot of them are already taken, and a lot of them want to stay single.
A lot of those men are free as a bird.
And they want to. That's not what I'm saying. Listen, can I let me know when it's okay for me to get to talk. Let me know when you're done.
I'm saying that's the myth they want to sell women.
That's not a myth. That's not a myth. Listen,
it's a myth.
Those men are everywhere. A percentage, a percentage. Lisa, can I talk now?
They're everywhere.
Can I talk now, Lisa? Those men, a large percentage of those men are already taken. A large percent. Can I talk without being interrupted, Lisa? A large percentage of those men don't want to be in relationships or marriages. So that if a large percentage are already taken, another significant percentage want to stay single. That means the men that women want to be with that actually want to be in committed relationships or marriages is small. That's not a myth. That's the reality.
Let me just go with what you said just for argument's sake, which of course is correct.
Okay.
But for argument's sake, let's say that's true. That's so fine. You should only want the man who wants the same thing you want. I'm sure what the number is. So women should only, just so that you know, there's a whole crap load of women now who don't want to be married. This is the new age too. A lot of women today don't want children. A lot of them don't want marriage or children. Some want children, not marriage. It's a whole mixture of all that. So actually, the numbers are matching up. So just like you have a lot of men who don't want marriage anymore, like my father's years, every man was married. So things are changing for both genders. So a lot of folks, so women are not all hoping for marriage. Again, the point is just looking for someone who's looking for what you're looking for. That's all I'm saying. But for example, I don't want to be married. When I've met men, and this is just maybe like my late 30s, if I met a man and we had these conversations, I'm the one saying that too. I've told the man, listen, I'm not looking for marriage ever, and I don't want kids. I never want children. I knew I didn't want children since 15. So I told that person up front that they knew this should not be anything more than just something where we like each other, we're having an adult relationship with partners, and we can move forward.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That's smart when you have, but that's the part of it that's an inaccurate description. If you get to enjoy, just because you don't end up marrying a man, does not mean the time that you spent learning things from him and experiencing things with him, doing things with him, having fun with him, that's not wasting time. It's not a waste of time when a woman does something with her friends and she goes to Miami with her girls. That's not a waste of time. When she goes and enjoys time with her friends and family, it's not a waste of time. So when a woman enjoys companionship and time with a man, it's not a waste of time.
Again, if you don't know jump up, that's a different conversation. I had that before where
just because you don't end up married, don't mean you were a jump off.
But
no, I'm saying to you, hold on a second. I'm saying to you, if both parties are okay with it, that's okay. So don't complain if you know one day you want to get married, this brother didn't change his mind. That's all I'm saying. But this
Okay, now I agree with
so
that.
I say to people, don't risk it. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. Now, if you go chasing waterfalls, so right away, you're going to go over the edge and you'll be dead. Now, if the brother changes his mind, that's the risk you're taking. So when I was dating guys, when my mind changed, some brothers, to this cool, I'm looking for the chill. We both were okay with that. And we were not looking for nothing serious. But there were one too many of us, well, I want kids with it. You should, I'm like, no, I don't. We didn't even go there. It's a waste of time. He wants that one day, he's going to be learning from here. Not that he's still going to waste his time. But you can work on the road 6 months a year. Now you might fall in love when you didn't know you were going to. Now I want kids. And you're trying to force me to have kids. Don't you want it? No. So there were one, two brothers that just moved to Hawaii and did their effort. One guy I dated for 12 years, 10, 12 years, he could take or leave marriage. He could take or leave children, so he didn't care. He said, I don't really care about marriage. I could take or leave it or kids, I could take or leave it. So it went to him because he wasn't on how I'm married one day or two. But there were men that wanted to one day be a father and be married. There were men like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, your situation seems is you had extreme perspectives and feelings towards dating, marriage, and children that don't represent how most women feel. But I agree with the things that you huh?
Because I'm a woman, I know what we think, how we think, but it is.
That's not how most women think.
This is what we think. When a lot of women today don't want
A lot is not the same thing as saying most.
And a lot of them do. And a whole lot don't want children. I'm seeing a lot of women now don't want kids. Young ones, all kinds of ages. The only point I'm saying to young women is, and women of any age, is just make sure when you're dating, you want the same thing you want. That's what I'm trying to say.
And that brings up what I wanted to talk about with media influencing dating. Like there's a big difference between how the images in dating from the 80s with the Cosby era, you know what I'm saying, or A Different World with Whitney and Dwayne Wade with Young Love, etc. And the images of romance and relationship that is portrayed in media today, like scandal, cheating, etc. I think that has a major impact on the type of relationships that we do see. Why? That's not only the reason. Technology plays a large part too, but we live in a more casual dating society, which references what you were just mentioning. A lot of women don't care about being married or having kids. They just want to have quality hookups or quality relationships with men that they're involved with, etc. Without having to make it official or have any children. That represents the casual dating mindset, because that's how a lot of men that casually date feel. If I have a kid, I'm responsible enough to take care of it, and if I decide to settle down and get married, that's cool. It's treated as optional for most men. So, what are your thoughts on the differences between how media
I love that. Yes.
was, like I said,
love the meantime. I love that the media, the images we see, in the kind of television shows and the kind of content we see and the kind of positions that women and both men are in, that there's no, we still get a little bit of it, but there's not really this big thing where, oh my God, you're not married, oh my God, you want children. It's a little bit more for women. It's a little bit more for women than men. People still look at you with a side eye if you're a female not having children, but it's still a lot better. So I'm glad that those days are over. I'm glad that there is no expectation that a woman or a man, well, you're not married, you're 50, you're kids, nobody cares today, which I think is a beautiful thing. So that now, that if a person's getting married, they might really want to be. They don't feel pressure, I'm 30, or I'm 45. No, there's no pressure. There's no pressure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of women still feel pressure, or that pressure to be in a committed relationship still exists. But from the way that I look at it, see, I don't look at it as, oh, you 30, you not married. Like the way that I look at dating and making judgments on women or whatnot is, why have you had sustainable, healthy relationships with men? Why did the relationships you were in fail? Like that's more what I care about than whether you married or not. Because you can tell within a couple of interactions with the woman whether or not she's the problem, whether her mentality and how she views things is problematic, at least from a male perspective. So that I don't think it's necessarily the shame of, oh, you're not married. It's, oh, damn, I can see why men get sick of your ass. I can see why men ain't never proposed to you. Like it becomes very apparent when you start interacting with that type of chick that has only had short term relationships, only dates men for a couple of months at a time. There's a reason for that. Like women that are quality women that make you want to look forward to being around them and hang around them again, they usually get wiped up. You know what I'm saying? Like men change their mind about being single for those type of women.
Let's look at today. Why fuck what he's helping to anybody? Like, we don't care. We don't care if it's or not. We don't care. So if you want to wipe up this hole over here,
well, wiped up is just slang. Women care about having a man that loves them and will be down for them.
The choice is if a man sees a woman, he's gonna wipe up. She's a pushing other man. I don't give a fuck. So,
well, that's definitely not how most women are feeling for these days. They want to have a man that is going to be willing to hold them down and use his resources to make their life better.
No, right.
It may not be you, but they want someone that most women that are not gay, heterosexual women want a man that is going to be doing those type of things for them.
If it ain't true, don't worry about what you do on the men. You just do nothing. Don't kill. I'm doing.
Well, that's not what I was saying.
Another man is doing another shit.
That wasn't what I was saying. Most women do want to have some. They may not want to be in a committed relationship. But the phrase "wifed up" means somebody that's doing those type of things for you, where you're romantically involved with them.
But again, that woman can be wiped up by you. Another man might be okay with something else. If you got your woman, she's wiped up, good for y'all. But we have a choice now. So we don't have to do nothing but ourselves. And there's a man out there for every female. Every woman
that's
has
not
a man.
true.
It ain't that hard. So
that's not true.
If you don't like a chick ass, then you can walk and chick and get your dick. She doesn't care what you think. She doesn't care.
I say, well, I'll say this, I'll say for the partner. If let's just say the chick isn't working out, he's going to move on to chick B. For the man that's successful with women, he's not going to just, okay, I'm just going to keep trying with woman A here.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I understand that. Listen, again, the thing about today's dating, especially for women, especially for women, we have enough images that tell us
right.
That we have choices. We can be ourselves. We don't have to meet any standard other than being ourselves. Again, if we're meeting something, again, for those people who want to get married, it's something we do. When you meet each other and you don't want the same things, or you don't like each other together, keep it pushing. It's beautiful. It's not a problem. And then age. Today, you're not an old lady to get married at 45. You're not an old lady to get married to have a child at 50 like Jenny Becky did. Everything goes today. So I'm liking that for them in the
I mean, look, he didn't have his first kid till he was well into his 40s.
Oh, who's got the son?
Jay-Z.
Exactly.
But now, Lisa, my question to you. How do you feel dating has changed from when you back in your day with you on age, right? How has it changed since from now to 2018 with the internet and everything like that? How do you feel it's changed? I have to talk from your dating experiences.
How things have changed? I think from the historical now, again, we have more options. There's less expectations to live a life where we were in a homogeneous society where a husband licensed 2.5 kids. Like that was where the society was going. So now there's no pressure for that. And then I like the fact that women can be aggressive now. Women can ask a man out. Women can ask a man to marry her. Women can, women can be aggressive. And I'm using the word aggressive, not assertive. Just like men can be aggressive. And I think that, I don't know how many men are used to it. I think some men like aggressive women. So no, that's fine. Women can decide to feed their eggs, which we're going to do today because I got my career popping. Let me freeze these eggs, and I'm going to be a mom one day. Or I want to freeze my eggs and alive. She throws her eggs in the event of, she doesn't want kids. She doesn't have a desire for kids, but she said, let me freeze my eggs in the event of my life change. I love that. She has the option. She's not hungry for it. that she doesn't know. Like, I knew I
Yeah, that's what's up.
Now, there's my next question. Have you ever felt any pressure from any family members that you're 20, you're in your late 20s, you're in your early 30s, you're not married?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mother, I had to break her in like a wild horse. She passed in 2007, but yeah, of course. But she was like, she's very southern, old school. Stop acting like that because ain't no man gonna want you. Like, I'm too loud and I'm too aggressive and I'm too independent. They don't man gonna want you to tell me how I was actually being. Ain't no man gonna want me. And it hurt my feelings a lot for a long time. And she would say things to me like, see, that's how no man wants you now. You can't be me.
Yeah, I can see how. I've seen that.
So I said her one day,
did any man's attitude change to you? Did you still desire, you said, hey, listen, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. Did your desirability change?
No, I did want to be married at some point in life when I was in my 20s, but that changed when I started something. But I never wanted children. I knew that from teenage years. No, my desire didn't change. I'm not going to question if my desire changed or desire if I had the opportunity to do it.
No, what I'm talking about is from men. Did their desirability for you change when you said that in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever?
Desirability to have a child by a man?
No, how did men respond to you saying that?
Because of it.
Oh, yes, it is. Again, there were some men when I decided I didn't want children, told them openly I didn't want children ever. When I got mature enough to be able to tell them that. When you're not mature enough, you hide those things about you because you don't want to lose the person and they don't know. And I had those times too. But as I got older, I'm like, hey, I'm telling you. And then there were a couple of men that, like I said before, who said, well, I'm going to have kids one day. So, this could be more than just like us hanging out. So we just decided to hang out until no one wanted to hang out. Then there were men that just kind of moved on quickly and we didn't bother to hang out. Which I was cool. Again, one guy did it for a long time, for about 10 or 12 years. He could take it or leave it, so it didn't bother him that I didn't want children, I didn't want marriage. Right. So it just turned into, long relationship. We weren't looking for that in the beginning. It just turned into that, like, to your point. Sometimes you might end up in the wrong thing and you weren't looking for it. But the point is that I told him up front.
Yeah, transparency matters. You got to be being transparent from the jump really matters in any type of dating situation.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So my thing is with women, I'm really big on women. So I want women to not feel anything differently than a man should feel walking through the world. It's hard to do that because you're still living in a man's world. But I want you to, it's like Steve Harvey's book. Steve Harvey's book says, act like a woman and think like a man. I read the book and I'm like, that's trash. That's trash. It's total trash. First of all, Steve Harvey, I cannot act like a woman and think like a man. Either I'm going to act like a woman and act like a woman and think like a woman. I'm going to act like a man and think like a man. Which one do you want?
Yeah, I think the consensus is out on that book.
That's ridiculous. So I told women, act like a woman and think like a woman.
I agree. I agree with staying lane on that.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever really think from the opposite perspective. But for what I try to do is I try to talk to women about the things that have been proven to cause conflicts or problem with men, or proven to prevent women from reaching their relationship goals, or things that just don't make any sense. So if you can eliminate doing those things throughout the dating process, you're going to have a much more pleasant dating experience. But it looks like we're up against the clock.
If you're a human being and you have goals of whatever the goals are, careers, everything applies to the same thing. People try to make it women and men. Do some nuances and some, things that are different between women and men. But in general, my advice to women is, any person, if you have goals in your life, make sure you focus on those goals and go after those goals. And don't go off course. So that includes your man. If you want a commitment one day, which leads to marriage, and that's what you're looking for, don't date men who are not looking for that at the same time that you're looking for that. If you do, you know you're growing, you're with the man. They never want that, and you wasted your time. Or you might date the man, you might turn to that, but that's just the case. You have a better chance.
Our relationships come with risk.
Dating a person who's like you at the time you met the person. A better chance. If you both have children, you both get married one day, it doesn't mean you don't know each other for that. But it's a great start to know you both are interested in the same things at one point. And you might go down the road and go, because you're not getting along, because there's a reason why you don't stay together. And like, get married.
I agree with that because I think that, no matter what the situation, you're taking a risk at some point of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can both want it, and it may or may not happen with each other.
Very
it's not
true.
the same risk as if you don't want it and the person doesn't want it. Everything is a risk. When I get in my car, I might have a car accident, but when I get in my car, I'm aware that somebody could hit me. So when I get in my car, I'm driving offensively and defensively, but I might still have an accident. But how I look, just get in the car drunk and high and not give a crap. You know,
Yeah, you lower your chances then of getting that. You're going sober. But I look at it like it's no different from going to the black. They say the land city. Hey, you may win, you may not.
Well, no. People doesn't understand because we know that the house will win. That's America. Do not gamble. That's what. Do not gamble. That's my point. Don't gamble. The house always wins. So if I can give it in a lesson, it's not because I'm older. It's still to this 2018. If you want something out of life, including a mate, you need to try to meet someone who has the same goals in a relationship that you have. And again, it doesn't mean that they want from you, but it has to start at least with that conversation. And you guys have some similarities with you religions in the same or no religion, like religion. I could not.
All right.
Look,
well, Lisa, we're running out of time. It look like we're up against the clock. Yeah.
Great conversation.
Great conversation. We can definitely chop it up and talk about some other topics. But I wanted to say shout out to J-Man and thanks Lisa for coming on, taking time out your day to do the podcast with us. The episode will be available to download from iTunes or Google Play. It'll also be available at the Terry Duran YouTube channel. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at the YouTube, the More Than Love Podcast Instagram page.